Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, my dear YouTubers. I should tell you about religions and metaphysics. It's a very interesting theme, I think, and I have made some discoveries in this important thing. This theme tells us religion's serious secrets, Who is Jesus Christ? He is really identical with the Jewish, so I speak, the real Messiah, or he is a different person. Who he really was and who he really is in heaven. We know that Jesus has a trial, so a triple identity. He is the Messiah, as the Christians say. He is Son of God, the only Son of God, as Christians say, and he is God himself too. So, Jesus Christ is his own Father and the Jewish Messiah. It's interesting just because of that. It's a nonsense, and it's totally different as a mythology as the Jewish mythology tells us about the Messiah. The Messiah, the Jewish Messiah, as the prophecies say of the Old Testament, is a completely different person. He isn't God and Son of God, and both of them. He is a real, normal human being, as he isn't a supernatural ghost or something like that, or God or something like that, but he fulfills the prophecies of the Old Testament. So he will rebuild, perhaps not only in oneself, but he will rebuild the Holy Temple. It will be the third temple of Jerusalem, the temple of the real and only God. And he will be a king too. He will sit on the throne of King David in Jerusalem. That tells us the prophecy about the real Messiah. Jesus didn't fulfill none of that prophecies. He was killed by the Romans and the Jews, and he was resurrected from the death 3 days after, and so he just founded a new religion, which is the biggest religion of the whole world, with 2.5 billion followers, believers. And this religion is 2,000 years old now. I should tell you about this religion interesting things. you know, I am a philosopher who has a special research field which isn't popular in postmodern age of philosophy. It is called metaphysics. It was very popular and the most important science in medieval age. It was called the absolute science, which was more sure in their sorry. People thought, the scientists of the medieval age thought that the proof of and the truth of metaphysics is more sure than the evidences of mathematics. So it was a real seriously made and so science in medieval age. I think that I have rebuilt this science. The last metaphysician was not in the medieval age. He was Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, a German philosopher who lived 200 years ago. He has published his main metaphysical work, which has the title Science of Logic, in 1812. It was a proof of Christian belief in a scientific way, but I have discovered that the main argument and proof of this work is fake, it's wrong, and the opposite is the truth. The main proof of mine is that God is infinity oneself, so He is the absolute identity and the subjective allness. In metaphysical language, it's my term, my terminus technicus, so to speak. It's the proof that God, as in the infinity oneself, can't be a ghost or a person or a supernatural spiritual being. Then he, as subjectivity, is everywhere, but as objectivity, he is nowhere. He hasn't a form, he isn't a being in conventional sense. So, a scientifical apprehended Christian belief can't be proved in metaphysics, even the opposite of that. The Kabbalah of Jewish mysticism tells us the truth, the real truth about God. God is the infinite nothingness, says the Kabbalah. It's hard to understand, it's hardly understandable immediately, but it's true. Perhaps I need here something add to that. As I said before, God is infinity oneself. That means He, as objectivity, is nowhere, because an object is always a finite thing. A thing in oneself is a finitude. Beings are always finitudes in oneself. So God as objectivity is nowhere, but as subjectivity, which means as identity, the absolute identity is everywhere. God is the absolute essence of the reality, but that means this dichotomy, this oppositeness of objectivity and subjectivity of God. I hope it's understandable, but it's really abstract philosophical thought about God. God is the subjective allness. In Latin, omnitas subjectivum. It's my definition about God. And it's compatible with this old Kabbalistic definition of God, what I have mentioned before, the infinite nothingness. The Zohar Kabbalah tells about this definition of God. Return to Christianity. It's important to see and to know that the real issue is not this abstract metaphysical mythological confusion and this nonsense of Christianity, which mainly appeared in this direct contradiction of identity of the Godhead as God oneself and the Son of God as identical being, as the Holy Trinity doctrine says. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost are the same being because they got one and only one essence. So the three persons of the Godhead are only one being. Christianity, Christian dogmatics, it says, but it's not the truth. As I said, God isn't a being. He is the being as the infinity, oneself. So he is not a finite being. Can't be. Infinity can't be a finite being. Infinity can become a finite being. That means God can't be a ghost. God is unable to embody oneself. The embodiment is not God oneself, but it's true that the embodiment in Christianity called Jesus Christ, in Hinduism called Sri Krishna, is really the Son of God, but not only the only Son of God, because God has many sons. With another words, to speak, they are angels. The angels are the sons of God. It's written in the Holy Bible. Satan is the most powerful angel existing angel. He is the first Son of God. I have proved in my work, Religion and Metaphysics, Myth, Relation of Myth and Logos, it's the title of this study, that the embodiment, who is called in Christianity Jesus Christ, is this angel in reality, the Son of God, but not the only, then the first Son of God, Lucifer, the morning star, with another name of his, Satan himself. Must to speak here that the real problem with Christianity is that this evil power of Satan had ruled the world and changed the world. The medieval age, when Christianity was in rule of everything, Christianity had ruled this time society, politics, science, religion, life, everything. And it was a dark and cruel age of humanity, mainly of Europe. Christianity has destroyed the temple of Israel, the country of Israel, and the empire of Roman folk, the Roman Empire, with its immoral power. Christianity has a special anti-ethical ethics, so to speak. So it's an immoral, destructive power as religion. I can prove it, you know. Christianity, so Jesus really destroyed these three things. As I said, the temple, the country, and the empire, and later, as in medieval age, destroyed the results of the empire and brought the age of darkness to the world, to Europe. And just 1,000 years after, with the Renaissance and later in the 70s and 18th century with the Enlightenment, was the humanity able to destroy this darkness, and the philosophers and other scientists of the Enlightenment has brought a normal life to humanity and a large growth and prosperity of the people of Europe and for the other continents. But we can see that it's different. The life is different in Catholic and Protestant countries. The main power of Enlightenment was